He is back on the Rich Eisen Show right now from SiriusXM NBA Radio. Longtime NBA chronicler of the sport. Frank Isola back here on the program. Good to see you, Frank. How are you?
Rich, what's up? How are you?
I just wanted the most New York I can get, Frank. That's all I wanted. So here we are. Good to chat with you. How are you? Good to see you.
Good. I like the story about John Halliburton. I feel he can't be on the court, only in the suite. To quote Tony Soprano's mom, "Oh, poor you, only in the suite." Oh, too bad. I'll tell you what. If I'm him, if he wants to confront somebody, go after like Tyler Kolek after the game. Leave like guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo alone. Go after like the smaller guys instead of the big guys.
He served his time, right? Now his son is 2 wins away from the NBA Finals, and it looked like he was going to be 3, but the Knicks just did it again, which has come back from 20 down. What do you think the Knicks did in Game 3 that is something they can replicate to try and make it to the NBA Finals after all? Frank?
Yeah, well, Karl-Anthony Towns is making $50 million a year, so it's not like you're expecting him to score 20 points in a fourth quarter, but he's certainly more than capable of scoring 4 points in the first 3 quarters. So I think that'll be a big part of it. I think, with Jalen Brunson being in foul trouble, the Knicks defensively were a lot better in that fourth quarter. And then when Jalen came in, he does what he usually does, and he hit a big shot with the score tied at 98. I would expect a lot more out of Indiana. We saw it twice with Boston. They go up by 20 at home. Look at how they perform once they got that lead. They let their foot off the gas. I felt that was true of Indiana. I thought their offense was terrible in that fourth quarter. They scored 20. They scored as many as Karl-Anthony Towns did. So the Knicks are still in a pretty good position because if anything that they've shown us during this playoff run that they're on is that they could be physically and mentally tough on the road and win games, and that's what they're going to need tonight in Indianapolis.
So is it a fair criticism? We hear all the time about Tom Thibodeau that he basically hates his bench and he overplays his starters, and the first 2 games of this series was an exact example of that. And Brunson sitting in Game 3 for as long as he did basically showed that if the Knicks actually get some help from the bench, they can win this thing. Is this a fair criticism of Thibodeau, Frank?
I don't think it is from this standpoint. Number one, every game takes on a life of its own, so everything's going to be different. And, they were up 9 with 58 seconds to go in Game 1. At that point, I don't think anybody's saying, you know what, they probably could have used their bench a lot more in this game. That was a freak show. Indiana needed 20 things to go right in the final 5 minutes of that game to even have a chance to tie, and 20 things went right. So Game 1 is a freak show, just like Game 2 was for the Knicks against Boston, just like Game 2 was for the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers. And I think if you look at the last game, he went to the bench because guys were in foul trouble. But, Deuce McBride is going to play a lot in this game with Mitchell Robinson starting, or Game 3, I should say. Josh Hart, still played over 30 minutes. And even last night, you look at, Oklahoma City, they essentially played 7-8 guys. Same thing with Minnesota. So everyone likes to get to a point where they want to play their best players all the time. And, the one thing about the Knicks, and this is really true, I understand Aaron Nesmith is hurt, but the one thing about these Final Four teams is that they've all been able to stay relatively healthy. And it just goes to show you, Rich, that there's no one way of doing it. Not one way is right and another way is wrong. Cleveland spent the entire season managing minutes, developing their bench. What happened in the playoffs? Their guys got hurt. Their bench, when they needed them, they weren't good enough. So there's no right way to do it. The teams that are doing it the right way are the 4 teams that are left right now in the playoffs.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.